Let's get to it. You guys got to tell me if the audio from the game is too loud and whether you can hear it. I'm gonna lower the audio in the game. Can you guys still hear the game just fine? Audio good? I know it's a little delayed, so. Hey PJ, are you there?
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
I'm just posting everywhere real quick.
Too quiet, someone said. All right, I'll raise it up. All right, I put it up higher. I think it should be better now.
Okay, almost ready. Okay. Oh, let me get it set up. I'm gonna set up on Facebook real quick, and then I will hang out. My bad. That way, our Facebook audience can also
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have so much story to share with you guys. This is just a teeny tiny taste. A lot of people, when they see Dwerve, they don't realize that it's going to be an RPG with a ton of lore. That's one of the things that we really wanted to lean into, because most tower defense games have no story. They have no characters. I know there's a few, but they usually don't have like an epic world with a history and lore. I'm gonna play using mouse and keyboard. You actually don't need to use the mouse at all, which is kind of nice. You guys remember this intro? It's basically to get the player to practice walking around, and then you die. There's no way to not die. You can try to stay alive as long as you can. And my brother was actually so good that he stayed alive for a very long time in the beginning, and we were like, okay, we gotta slow down Dwerve. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but Dwerve actually walks slower in the beginning there, so you can't outrun enemies. So here we are in Dwarves House. Dwarve, you're awake. Hey, Enshay.
Oh, I thought I heard him for a split second. Enche?
I'm here.
Hey, Enche's here, guys.
Enshay did most of the art for Dwerve, and he's in the chat as well. So if you guys have questions in regards to the art, it's actually Enshay that did most of the art, not me. Enshay, if you click the link to in the to the YouTube video, you'll see people talking. Feel free to basically answer any questions or chat with them.
Can do.
All right, sweet. All right, and then actually let me go to the Steam too, so that way I have them both up in case we have questions over there as well. All right. Okay, so hey Peter, I do not see you on Steam. Oh, let me embed this on the Kickstarter page too. I don't see you on Steam, by the way.
Okay, do you want me to test it out? It said unable to connect.
Oh, shoot.
Don't
worry about it. I'll try that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. So this is Dwarves House, and we never clearly tell you whose room is whose, right? So you know Dwerve wakes up in this room, so obviously this is his room, but he lives with his father and grandfather, right? And I envisioned this being Dwerve's dad's room, right? This is Eric's room, and then I imagined this being his grandpa's room, and there's a lot of little subtle things to hint at this being his grandpa's room. There's some alcohol here and a barrel here, and if you walk over here, Dwarf says Grandpa's Workbench. So there's a bunch of little secrets like that, little dialogue bubbles that you can trigger if you go to the right place. It's fun because it rewards people who are exploring and want to learn more about the world. It gives them a little bit more information. So if you go over to this corner and over to this workbench, that's how you find out that this is Grandpa's room. Did you go looking for your mother again? Ah, of course you did. You are just like her. I suspect this won't be the last time you sneak into the snoring forest. Come, let me at least teach you how to defend yourself. Meet me in the field. Alright, Grandpa. Check it out, we can race him to the field. But it's a good time to explore. I'll show you guys another hidden dialogue box. Still not dry. I actually kind of forgot where I put all of them. There's a little secret back here. You can go behind the house to get some scrap. Scrap is basically the currency in our game, and it's what you're going to use to buy upgrades. Don't go into the tall grass. Yeah. You guys see that little bird down there on the stump too? If you get close to the birds, they fly away. I think that's a nice little detail. So with scrap, you'll buy upgrades. You can't do that in the demo yet, but that's going to be a really fun aspect of all the towers. You'll be able to sort of customize your skill tree for every tower. Us dwarves are very strong, but we're also very slow. This makes us weak against multiple foes. That's why the warriors of the old days became warsmiths. Warsmiths were warrior engineers that used turrets and traps to take on multiple foes at once. If you guys are part of the Discord, you'll notice Warsmiths is in the Discord. We used different titles, and a lot of them are related to the game.
I'm going to see if I get so many questions. My bad, guys. I'm trying to set up the stream on Steam, but we're having a little trouble with that. So what engine do we use? We use Unity and C#. Yeah, Unity's a great engine. We love it. Can you do a bonus dwarf song with Diggy Diggy Hole? Not sure what that means.
That might be it. It's probably a meme reference we do not get.
Do you guys use a fixed palette? No, we don't use a fixed palette, but in general, as you can see, our colors are kind of softer, a little less saturated. So that's just, in general, I guess you call that our art style. We don't really have a specific palette, but in general, it's a less saturated palette.
I remember experimenting with a palette before, and I asked people which one they liked better, and most people, they don't seem to appreciate a limited color palette, so I figured there's no point in limiting the color palette, especially if it's going to go unappreciated.
Yeah, I think it can work. It's just more like a stylistic preference. We just didn't want to do that. There's definitely games that pull off like down well with like 3 colors. So
we want the game to be nostalgic of like Snes games, but we don't want to adhere to the limitations of the Snes.
Is it possible to go in the water? No, not yet. Maybe one day we'll let Dwarf go for a swim, but not currently. Do you guys enjoy developing Dwarf? Yes. It is like our passion project. It's it's the exact type of game like we would play. And that's why we're being indie. That's why we're indie devs after all. It's because we don't want to work on a project we're not passionate about. With Dwarf, it's our project. We get to decide everything from the gameplay, the story, and all that. So we love working on Dwarf.
It's really empowering to be able to just go in and add something into your own game.
Yeah, so if we come up with some crazy idea, we can do it for the most part, as long as it's not too out of scope. But generally, yes, you have so much freedom when you're working on your own games, and it's a lot of fun.
So hopefully a lot of you guys, when you played this tutorial, you noticed what Esben says there. He talks about the boomerang and the griffin boots. I've seen people playing the demo on YouTube, and people always forget about the dash. The dash is a great way to escape, and when you dash through enemies, you actually knock them back. And in regards to how the boomerang works, the boomerang auto hits enemies, but you have to stand still. The reason we thought this was an interesting mechanic is because in a tower defense game, let's say you create a really good setup, right? And then you stand back behind your tower. If you're standing still, you'll be able to attack, but if you're trying to dodge enemies and running around, you can't. So it gives the player a choice. You have to decide: am I going to run away, or am I going to support a tower? And we like that it's sort of like it's a risk and reward. It's a give and take. It's a decision that the player has to make. Also, it makes it a lot simpler. We were thinking about how to add controls for throwing a boomerang, and it just overcomplicates things. It makes it that much harder. It would make it that much harder to pick up if we had to also explain how you aim your boomerang.
Yeah, we did try. We did try to implement it, but the controls were really the biggest issue. Is you're aiming, you're placing, and you're moving, and it was just really a lot. It was overwhelming a lot. We would have to really rethink and rework the controls completely if we wanted to do that. That's not something we wanted to do, at least not at the time. We had a lot of other.
We also want to make sure that the game works very easily on all platforms. So, for example, we would think of a control scheme that would work really great on PC, but then we were like, wait, how would that work on console? Or what if we ported to mobile? How would that work on mobile? So the reason we really love the auto attack is that, for sure, that's going to work on every single platform. So there's Brecca Village. That's basically the Dwarven hub, the Dwarven village. And behind that, you can see that there's a door into the mountain. And if you guys have seen the Gromble gif, he's protecting that door.
Oh.
I don't think Enshe has a YouTube channel. Someone asked if you guys have YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, I don't. Enche? No, I think you're on Twitter.
Not at all.
Actually, wait, yeah, but guys, you can follow Enche's work on Twitter. It's at EncheC, right? Is that right? EncheC?
Yep, that's right. And you totally should do that.
Yeah, let me actually pop that in the chat. I have like a million windows open. I'm trying to multitask in these.
Enche is also the one that designed the posters and the T-shirts. A lot
Peter,
of
let me give me link permissions.
Okay, let me see. On YouTube? Man, I'm not sure how to do that super quickly, but I'm gonna try.
Hey, there it is.
Cool. We should pop up on Steam soon.
I don't know how to quickly give you permissions.
Hey, we're on Steam too. All right, cool.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
I found it. I gotta I think put in your email if you don't want anyone to know which email you're using right now. Post it on Discord.
Okay.
Paste it on Discord. The email that you're using.
Oh, dude, I'm in the Half Human account. So just the Half Human email.
halfhumangames@gmail, right?
No, contact at halfhumangames.com.
Okay. Access.
Oh, should I say? Oh shoot. Oh.
Okay. I think I gave you permissions now.
Okay, cool.
It says pending invitation, so you should be able to do pretty much everything. I think you can kick people from the chat and all sorts of stuff now.
Nice.
Also, if you post a link, I think I'm able to manually show or hide it.
Okay.
But by default, it's gonna hide links.
Okay. Can the first 10 people who buy Dwarf get access? Oh my. Okay, my bad. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, I scroll up. I've been missing all these things.
Glenn, thank you for your pledge.
Can you do a hat tutorial? That's an interesting topic. That actually might be a lot of fun doing different like hats or helmets maybe. Hardest thing of game development. I don't even know. Game development's just so hard in so many different ways.
I think for most people it's programming. Programming is very intimidating.
Yeah, definitely. Another, this kind of general, but like motivation almost. Like it takes a long time and a lot of passion and energy to make a game, and it can get rough. Like there's times you're demotivated when something's not working, or like I don't know. There's a million reasons to get demotivated.
Probably the angriest I get is when we have a bug that we can't fix for hours.
Oh yeah, you spend like a couple of days trying to fix a bug, and it's just like
That's
super frustrating. All right, the most fun thing is sending a bunch of concept artwork to Enche and then having Peter draw a bunch of concept artwork, and we all give it to Enche, and Enche makes some magically awesome thing that I don't even know how he does it.
Yeah, if you work on a team, it's so fun to see other people create things.
Yeah, I think that's what really makes our art unique. Also, is that like it's a collaborative process. So there's lots of like back and forth and stuff. And it's really cool to like see iterations of stuff. So Peter might start off with a couple of concepts, and then we send it to Enche, and then Enche sends us back a couple of concepts, and then we're like, oh, try this, tweak that, and then it's really fun to see that. So that's a really fun aspect of game development. And you know, art's always fun because it's visual. It's not always fun being like, hey, I did this cool system that does this thing, but you can't really see it because it's like programming. So
it's hard to get appreciated as a programmer.
Yeah, unless you're implementing art. I remember like when I first implemented the dash, that was really fun to show. I'm like, hey, check this out.
Oh yeah, like a feature in the game.
Yeah, let's see. So, do you implement Easter eggs? So we have a couple little hidden secrets. We definitely want to do more of that. Like we really want to reward people for exploring and solving puzzles. So you might like wander through the forest or some dungeons, and you might get some weird area, and you solve a puzzle, and there'll be like a chest with some items and stuff, or some lore. So we really want exploration and secrets and Easter eggs to be a really big part of the game. What is our favorite SNES RPG? Oh man, this is, I don't want to be cliche, you know, Link to the Past is, mild inspiration for this game, so definitely throwing that one out there. But favorite SNES era RPG aside from that one, not to be generic, but oh god,
there's a couple that I played recently that I didn't play when I was younger. For example, Mario RPG, and also there's a bunch that they re-released basically for the DS. So
nice.
So games that a bunch of games that I didn't get, I started playing again now on the DS.
But yeah, I think like this is another big one, like Chrono Trigger. Like I don't know, just the art, and then like the whole story. Like I know it's generic, but you know, Chrono Trigger, Link to the Past, stuff like that. How many turrets are there? So right now, I think we have 15. I think we have 10 turrets and 5 traps. And of course, we have the 2 that we unlocked from the stretch goal. So that will be the harpoon turret and the pebble shooter, or slingshot turret. I forgot what we ended up naming it. But yeah, there should be a little over 15, 17, something like that. So plenty of variety. And each turret is going to have its own upgrade tree. So you'll be able to kind of customize them to cater to your own playstyle. So an example is the crossbow turret. You can do like, you know, a strong piercing arrow that goes through multiple enemies, or maybe you can do one that has like poison, so it deals a little damage over time after, stuff like that. So you can kind of cater and tweak the behavior and functionality of the turrets.
We're after we go through the story, we're gonna show you guys a sandbox level where we're gonna show off turrets that were not playable in the demo, so you get to see how they work, and some new enemies in there too. So Brecca Village here, you can see from the view it's on fire, and Dwarf is worried for his dad. That's why we gotta get there and save him. In the top right corner, you usually get a quest. It's basically a way to remind you what your goal is. So for example, you can see in the top right corner, it says find Eric. So I don't know how prominent we're gonna make that in the game. But we might have side quests, etc. But we don't want to make it too too distracting.
Yeah, we're not sure how. We want to have a little throughout it. It's definitely not going to be like a big open world where you run around, meet people, and do whatever, and have a bunch of side quests. It'll be a main storyline and a couple of offshoots for fun little side quests, but not, nothing too crazy. We spent a lot of time thinking about how we wanted the game to be, and we decided to keep it feel openish, but not too open. With tower defense combat, backtracking isn't exactly something you want to do a lot. Like in an action RPG, running around and going from one location to other, you just fight people on the long way. That's totally fine. But pointless, tedious battles with tower defense combat, we decided that wouldn't be quite as fun. So we're kind of straying away from that. Are we going to see anything past the demo? Yeah, Peter, I think, answered that. We do have a little sandbox area with.
Yeah, we're going to be showing you new enemies and new towers that were not available in the demo. But story-wise, I don't think we're going to reveal anything more in regards to story.
Yeah,
we might talk about it, but I don't think we're going to show stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Pink.
All right, guys. So
Question. Wait up. Is the pink part of Dwerve's face his mouth or his nose? Somebody asked us the other day and we didn't know. Well, here it's obvious, but on his in-game sprite, his little tiny character sprite, we were like, wait, I was like, that's his nose.
Show
he was
everybody.
like, no, it's his mouth. And we didn't remember.
You can imagine it's his nose because he does have a big pink nose. But for all the other enemies like trolls and stuff like that, it's definitely their mouth. And it probably is Dwerve's mouth, but it totally looks like it could pass as his nose.
So, geez, can't unsee that now.
I know, right?
He's got a gigantic pair of lips on him.
Right?
So I've watched a lot of people play through the demo on YouTube, and it's interesting to see how people tackle these battles. I'm basically going to show you guys the optimal way to beat them. One of those ways is to put the 2 arrow towers down here, because there's so much distance that the enemies have to go. They have to run around here, and you can also kite in the meantime. So if you're kiting enemies here, the towers can just keep dealing damage.
Oh, that's smart. I gotta say, I played through this like 10 or so times to get some screen grabs of some areas, and I suck at this game.
It's so difficult to make it strategic, but not too obvious. We want people to kind of figure it out, but we don't want it to just hand them the solution every time.
Yeah, definitely making levels that are well balanced, that are both informative but not too easy, is it's hard. I remember first it was too easy, and then it was too hard, and then we just kept going back and forth. A lot of it is we've really worked on trying to have earlier battles that kind of teach strategies that you can kind of layer on to create more complex strategies. But yeah, it's definitely something we've been practicing, kind of learn. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance this game. I think a part of it too is it's a kind of new. It's a new genre basically, and there's no real formula or blueprints hey, this works, do this. Yeah. So we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
We're definitely gonna do.
You can't just do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
no one's doing it.
We plan to have analytics that will show us where people get stuck, so that way we know what to make easier. Also, everyone that backed, I believe it's $40 and more, is going to have beta access. And when you have beta access, you can let us know if you're stuck on a battle. Part of being in beta access is that you get to give us feedback on a lot of the stuff that we're going to be adding to the game.
All right, I have a couple more questions. So let's see. Did you guys start off playing a lot of StarCraft, Warcraft tower defense, or mostly Flash? I started on Flash. I think you did too, right, Peter?
Yeah, the first tower defense game I played, which I think is the first tower defense game ever made, was called TD Tower Defense, and it was based off of the World of Warcraft mod, but it was a Flash game. And it got double-digit millions of plays. The game went so viral. And it basically launched the tower defense genre. But recently, my favorite one has been Kingdom Rush. I really like Kingdom Rush. It was a Flash game, but they also made it into a mobile game.
So, is Peter responsible for all the art? No, so we actually work with an artist a while back, Sun Pixels, and then Pete does a lot of the art, and then now we're also working with Enche, and he has done a lot of the art too. He did kind of a little makeover of the forest assets and a lot of our enemies. I think about half of them, pretty much all the new enemies. So Enche has been our primary artist for the past year, I think now. And then, but yeah,
and then a year before that, it was Sun Pixels. So.
Yeah, and then
and originally it was me.
Up here and there, yeah. So we've been grateful or fortunate. We've been fortunate to have worked with multiple great artists on this, and it's been awesome to one thing that is actually kind of surprising is somebody's like, hey, how? Even though 3 people have worked on this, you guys have done a really good job at maintaining a style. And as like the programmer of the team, I want to say, yeah, you guys did a great job, like keeping the style consistent across the board. So that's been pretty cool.
Something that
can be kind of a challenge.
Yeah, something that we had Enche do is go over existing sprites. So we had a lot of sprites that were already done, but Enche went over them to kind of make them all fit his style and look a little bit more cohesive.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them are actually in the village, so you can show off some of them. Those
yeah, you went over these
outside the main hall.
Yes, and the buildings, the statues, yeah. Okay, let's see more questions. Let's see. The crossbow looks awesome. Thank you. If I miss anyone's question, just ask it again because I'm trying to keep up. But let's see. Do you use Uni's particle system with pixel perfect camera? So we do not use pixel perfect camera. And the main reason is we just cheat a lot. We zoom. We have particles and that aren't pixel graphics. We zoom and scale and pan. So our game, even though it's inspired by Snes aesthetics, we do cheat a lot. And you might have just noticed that potion squashed and stretched a little bit. So we do not use pixel perfect graphics. Yeah, sorry, not graphics, pixel perfect camera.
Yeah, right here.
And that's just like a stylistic decision we made. We didn't want to stick too much to the aesthetic. It's more about like, an appreciation of Snes graphics, but we're not trying to emulate it, completely.
We did try the pixel perfect camera though. We just didn't really like how it looked.
Yeah, it didn't really work well with like non-pixel stuff like the glows or rotating sprites. It started looking weird.
Yeah, like these portraits right here, how they're animated, that wouldn't look too good with a pixel perfect camera.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of got to pick. Are you going to stick to a pixel portrait? You're not, and we kind of decided, nah, let's just kind of break the rules and not go that route. So let's see, when is Dwarf 2 coming out? Hopefully next year, or I guess the following year, because Dwarf's coming next year. So the following year after that, maybe.
We would love to do DLC. If the game was doing fantastic after the Steam release, it'd be really fun to do DLC. Originally, we wanted the game to be so massive that it probably would have took us a very long time to finish it. So we have plenty of story ideas to add on to Dwarf for sure.
All right, this is impressive right here. I'm the guy on Discord who speed read I'm the guy on Discord who speed ran the demo in 18 minutes and 52 seconds. That's pretty fast considering that the demo. Yeah, it's like 45 minutes, like at least, or something like that. That's pretty crazy.
I haven't seen that speedrun. Is it recorded?
I think you posted it. I believe you posted it in the chat.
I'm gonna watch that. I haven't seen it.
Or let's see.
I wonder if you glitched any of the areas, because in the demo,
yeah,
I think there might be an exploit or two.
Okay, let's see. What is Peter's role in the game? So Peter and I are both. Peter and I are the two main full-time developers, and we're both like Swiss Army knives. So
yeah, when you're an indie dev, you really have to do whatever's necessary at that point in time. For example, the past month, we were just doing Kickstarter, and before that, I was working on the trailer. I think for
like a month. Yeah,
for like a month. I was recording and editing the trailer. So it's whatever's needed at the time. But PJ for sure is doing most of the programming. And after the Kickstarter, I'm going to be doing a lot of the level design, a lot of the level building.
Yeah, so Peter and I are both like Swiss Army knives. So we both do programming, we both do game design, and I even do a little bit of art. It's usually really crappy or miscellaneous stuff, or like really early concepts and sketches. But so we're both versatile, but I'm a little more technical with the programming, and Peter's a little more artistic on the art side. So a lot of his role, even though Inche's like our main artist, Peter will do a lot of early sprite work, basically concepts, concept sketches, and kind of flesh things out. So that Inche just take it and run with it.
If the programming is easy, I'll usually tackle it. But if it's something that I think I could mess up on, I'll usually just let PJ handle it. So like a lot of the UI stuff was me, like the heart cracking and breaking, etc. Like a lot of the simple programming, I'll just handle it. But some of the stuff in Dwerve is very difficult programming. By the way, check it out. You guys can go up here into these outposts. There's nothing there, but maybe I'll hide a dialogue there.
One of the coolest things that you built was which everyone will get to see. It's not 100% polished yet, but you'll get an early preview of it. Is Peter built the Workbench, which is basically Slaw's shop where you purchase upgrades, and that looks pretty awesome. So you guys get a little teaser of that later. All right, let's see. Questions. We hope we get. I hope we get this. We all hope actually we get the Switch goal. So we're really excited for that too. We're almost there. Let's see where we're at right now. We are at 45,710. So
that's so close. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so close. It would hurt my soul if we didn't reach it. You guys gotta up your pledges.
Kingdom Rush. Yeah, Kingdom Rush is. I think it's one of your favorite tower defense games, right, Peter?
Yeah, it is my favorite tower defense game.
It's so crazy how they have, like, obviously you have the upgrades, but you only have like what 3 or 4 basic towers, and they made an entire game with that, and it never really got old. Like, it was so. I think it's so impressive how they had 3 towers, plus the upgrades, but and made it into a complete, really in-depth experience. Like, that was really impressive with that game.
In the new ones, they have characters with abilities, and that's getting a little closer to like what Dwerve is. Like they have, which is pretty cool. This is.
Oh, that's right. You can spawn like units or something, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's a matter of time before someone would create Dwerve. I'm glad we created it first.
Actually, if I'm being honest, okay, there's this like random no-name indie gem. No one has heard of it. I usually don't bring it up because like nobody knows about it. But you guys should go check it out. While you're waiting for Dwerve, it's called Soulcasters. It is one of the biggest inspirations for Dwerve. I would say it's like the founder of this whole kind of tower defense dungeon crawler like genre, right? But go check it out.
It's one of the oldest ones we found, I think.
Yeah, it was like came out like 5 years ago, but I don't know why it didn't really gain traction. Well, yeah, it didn't really gain traction. It is like a smaller, it's all about like a smaller indie game. But while you wait for Dwarf, you can go play that game because it's pretty awesome.
Here's one of the little secrets. If you guys come up here, there's a chest here. It's not very hidden. We'll definitely hide stuff a little bit better in the future, but this is an example of how we plan to hide stuff. Yeah,
this is like our first little secret, so we don't want to make it too crazy.
Yeah, we wanted people to find it.
Okay, let's see. What is the biggest challenge? So we talked about earlier. Programming tends to be pretty tough. Staying motivated is quite a challenge too when you're working on a game for so long and you run into like a bug that you can't fix, or you're trying to build a community and just like frustrating, it's not working. It takes a while to figure these things out, and it can be demotivating.
The biggest challenge is making money. Oh,
yeah, it's probably honestly, that's very true as well. It's very, I think something, I don't remember the exact number, but very small number of indie studios make a profit, at least for the first couple of games. So it's tough. Any tips for indie game development? I think the best tip for someone starting out at least is to like hustle. Watch the Braki tutorials, even though he stopped making them, but he has lots of content out there. So watch the Braki tutorials, go to Unity, learn, do those tutorials, watch Code Monkeys. If you're an artist, watch pixelpete, but just really practice.
Code Monkeys, what the show?
And keep growing. Oh no! Look at all that tearing. That's so bad. We need to fix the tearing. It's been such an annoying issue that we've had.
It's so hard for me to look at the chat and play.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up for you. I'm like falling behind. Let's see. When did you decide to quit your work and focus all your energy in this? So, we were doing contract work for a while, and we saved up, and eventually when we had enough saved up, we were like, okay, we can work on this for about a year and then launch a Kickstarter to get the finishing funding to do it. So basically when we saved up enough to hold us, to let us do development long enough for us to do a Kickstarter campaign. That's pretty much it. And what's good with us is we have a lot of connections. So if we ever do need to kind of go back into contract work, we can easily do that. So yeah, basically we saved up enough. Really, I guess that's the quick answer.
We worked part-time, and if we weren't working at our jobs, we were working on Dwarve. We hustled this game pretty hard for 2 years.
Yeah. All right, so is the game out now? No, it's on, the demo's on Steam. We are currently running a Kickstarter. So if you like what you see, go to Steam, give the demo a try. And if you enjoy it, please consider backing us on Kickstarter. You can get some cool swag. We have t-shirts, posters, a cool art book. You guys should really check out the shirt.
Beta access, so you can play the game sooner.
Yeah, tons and tons of cool stuff. Inche did a great job on like the shirt designs and the poster designs. So go check out the Kickstarter, check out the rewards. You'll help us get to the Switch goal. We are almost there. We're almost there. So if we get to 50,000, we will release the game on Switch. So that's what we're hoping for. My bad. I'm gonna keep going through the questions. There's so many, I can barely keep up. I should probably answer them more concisely. At what point in development was sprite size decided? Okay, so very early on, I was like, we started programming the game, and we wanted to just focus on seeing if it was fun. So we didn't even care about how it looked. We were like, let's just test this idea out. Let's make sure it's fun. Let's make sure it's feasible before we kind of go all in and start making art and all this stuff. So I went to Itch and I was like, top down dungeon sprites, and I was just looking for something, and I found an art pack by an artist named PETA, and it's actually we bought that asset pack for like $10, I think, and it became the foundation for our art style. We were like, wow, this looks beautiful, we love it, let's basically base our game off of this art style. So a lot of the sprites have since been like, we kind of made them our own, and we've added a ton more in the style, but we used it as like a jumping off point for our art style. So as soon as we saw it, we're like, hey, I know we only said we were gonna do this like kind of like as placeholder, but I kind of like the style. Let's just stick with it. So
we didn't want to do anything too complicated either, because we knew that we had a small team, and with a small team, we didn't want to spend too much time on the art, because you can spend forever on art. It's one of those things where you can just constantly add more and improve.
Yeah, so we thought like the low-res pixel art was like, it would be manageable, and it would also be, nostalgic, because we love playing those NES games, and we decided it very early on. All right, let's see,
I think
Dwerve.
This was also my first like pixel art game. Before this, I didn't do pixel art. A lot of people on the pixelpete channel know, but basically Dwerve was how I learned how to do pixel art. It was the reason why I learned how to do pixel art. So for me, 16 by 16 was less intimidating than higher resolutions. It's harder for me to actually do the higher resolution pixel art.
And that's actually a good point for people that are starting out. So basically what happened was we started with the assets that were part of the pack, and then Peter went over them, and he kind of like did a pass to kind of make them our own. And then if we needed new enemies, new tile sets, he basically created new enemies and tile sets in the style of the PETA pack, and he kind of emulated them and used existing ones as a base. And that's a great idea for people that are starting, is to take existing assets and kind of make a skin of a character, or make take this dungeon tile set and make a Magma Mines tile set, and that's a really great way to learn. So
yeah, I think
that's basically how Peter started.
Yeah, one of the quickest ways to learn is to mimic or copy another person's art style. And I know that when you guys follow along on the tutorials, I'm basically teaching you my style. So like a lot of my viewers know that I love to put black outlines around the art. And that's, you know, that's up to you. But when you do my tutorials, I'm usually going to end up putting those black outlines around most of the art.
Jay, do you have any tips for people trying to learn pixel art, just kind of starting?
Don't dither.
don't dither.
For real. Start small. Try to make things readable. Yeah, just pick something you like to make first.
That's actually a good point. The readable one. I don't know if you do this, Enche. I'm assuming you probably do, but I know Peter likes to do this. When he's in Sprite, he has a small preview of what he's drawing. That way, he knows what it's going to look like at the actual size it'll be in game, and that kind of helps to make sure it's readable. Do you do that?
Yeah, well, I do something similar. I like zooming out to the 1:1.
Okay.
Pixel ratio, so you get to see it in a super tiny little thumbnail size, and if you can still make out everything, I think then it's good.
Yeah,
a lot of sprites just need so much small tweaks. Like the Grenadier guy, that went through an extra hour just to make it readable at that level. So I think
I bet he's like, oh, actually, man. Are you guys gonna wait for that? Because I don't even think. Yeah, we're gonna be sharing soon some new enemies that Enche has been working on, and they're pretty awesome. They're pretty awesome. I guess we can talk about them. We talk about them. We'll tease you guys until we actually share them on Twitter and stuff. But one is a troll assassin. These names are placeholders. I don't know if that's the best descriptor for this guy, but he's a troll and he's hooded, and he has a Kusarigama. How do you say it?
I actually don't know how it's pronounced.
Kusarigama. I think that's how you say it. Kusarigama. So it's basically a chain weapon with a scythe blade at the end. So yeah, I bet you can already imagine how cool that might look. The troll assassin spins around his circle really quick, spinning this giant chain around, and then the blade just slices through. It'll slice through any turret that's around. So the big AoE attack. And Shay, I don't know if you finished. Did you finish the animation yet?
I finished everything except for the actual attack, and that one's almost done. I just wanted to.
I saw the preview.
The sizing would do.
Yeah, that's right. He sent us a preview of it, and it already looks awesome, and it's not even done yet. So that's pretty.
I'm excited about that one. It's gonna look real cool when it's done.
Yeah, I can't wait. And then the other one that he has been working on is a troll Grenadier. Is that the right word? Grenadier. Kind of a weird word to say out loud, actually. Now that I think about it, but this is like a alchemist. Like an alchemist kind of troll. He has like goggles on, and he has like these potion bombs that he throws. So he's gonna stay back, kind of like a ranger. He's a ranged enemy. And he throws these potion bombs, and they do a little blast that is AOE damage. So that guy looks pretty awesome too. So we have exciting stuff prepared to start showing after the Kickstarter ends, and of course we'll be showing the enemies too that we got from the stretch goal. So that was what enemies were though? Those were the shaman. You have the troll shaman. That guy's awesome. He's gonna heal enemies while you're killing them. So he's gonna be tough. And then we have the cyclops that'll shoot a laser beam out of his eyes. And then lastly is the Magma Golem. So that guy's just going to be a big rock, with lava. We want to do something lava themed too. So he not only is going to be a big rock monster, but he's going to have lava spurt out of him when he's walking and stuff. So if you get hit by it, it'll damage you. So those enemies should be a lot of fun too.
We try to make the enemies have sort of different AI. So, for example, what you can see in this demo is that the bees, they can fly over the water. Then the warg boars, they're very fast, and each enemy should be a little bit different. And whenever we create new enemies, we either want them to have a cool attack or basically act a little bit different. And you'll see that right. I think that I'm about to show it because this is the last section. So you'll see some of those enemies in the sandbox level we're going to show after this.
I'm going way too slow these questions. I'm falling behind. But will it have multiplayer? Probably not anytime soon, at least.
That was our 100K goal.
Yeah. So we would like to do it eventually. It probably won't be in the initial release. You know, if the PC launch and hopefully Switch, if that goes well, we want to keep working on the game. We want to add, you know, versus and co-op game mode. We want to add level editor. We want to keep, you know, adding cool and fun stuff to the game. So we have a nice big wish list that hopefully we can get to at some point.
You guys ready?
Yes.
You guys ready for the new towers, the new enemies? This is gonna be awesome. Gramp says, you can choose your turret loadout at the workbench. Each area here is designed to show you what each tower excels at.
All right, so yeah, so who somebody asked who was talking. So yeah, we have pixelpete, Snarly Narwhal, myself, and then Enche is on the call with us too. We unfortunately did 8, which wasn't really a good time for Morty, our composer / sound designer, so he's sleeping right now. But
if you go to the Kickstarter page, we have a little bio about each of us there.
What's the hardest part about running a Kickstarter? Everything. So
it's so time consuming. The hardest part is the amount of time you got to put into it. So
we were planning to launch this like last spring. So
here you can see the workbench, and this is where you're going to pick what towers you want to use. And I think almost all of the towers are here for you guys to see right now in the video. And I'm going to show off a lot of these towers. Here you can see that how the upgrade tree will look, and some of these don't have upgrades for them there, but you know, don't worry about that. We haven't designed all the upgrades yet. And on the left you can see stats. So normally in the game you can't really see the tower's health or the damage, but here you can see all the stats, so you can kind of think about what kind of loadout you want, whether you want single target damage, how much range you want, etc.
So my bad. I'm gonna keep jumping back to the. I feel bad. I'm like falling behind. So hardest part about launching Kickstarter is it takes so much time. Working on the trailer takes forever. Polishing the demo takes forever. Making the graphics and text for the page takes forever. Preparing emails for press and YouTubers takes forever. It's so much work. I don't know if there's like one single hard part. Just simply it takes a lot of work. It's very exhausting. And even when it launches, you know, you're still sending out emails to press, to YouTubers, you're writing Kickstarter updates, you're posting tweets on social media, you're reaching out to influencers. It is work, and it's so stressful. But it's just hard. It's just so much work. I don't think there's like one single thing that's like the hardest part.
This is a tower that's really fun. So I don't know if you guys remember, but these guys with the shield, they block arrows and they're really hard to beat. But if you have a punch tower, you can punch them off the level. There we go.
Yeah, this is one of the first towers we added actually, and yeah, we want our towers to be kind of, it's punching down. Put it back one, yeah.
I'm not sure which one I should put here. I'm gonna try the Chakram Tower. The Chakram Tower has a spin blade that bounces around, so you can.
Oh yeah. This is pretty awesome. Oh, it's a good little room for it too.
This is a new enemy too. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's they're skeletons.
So the skeletons themselves are just like, you know, they just swarm you real quick. But what's cool is, so we have a Necromancer Enemy. I don't know if there's one in here, but the Necromancer spawns skeletons.
I did put one in at the end.
Okay, nice. So it's like one guy walking up, and all of a sudden he does a little spell thing, and they just pop up. The skeletons just pop up everywhere. It looks pretty awesome. It's also kind of terrifying because the skeletons just like they run at you like crazily. They're just like look at them. Yeah, so the skeletons and necromancers are pretty fun. Enche made some pretty awesome animations for the skeleton spawning, and then also the necromancer, when it dies, it like explodes. It's like a magic cloud. It looks pretty awesome.
That is the best part of designing an enemy, when you know for a fact you're going to make an explosion.
Yeah,
excited about the grenade guy. Just for that's enough.
Yeah, explosions, whether it's magic or fire. It's just fun to see those sort of effects. Do Do you use any specific project management wow, I can't talk. Methodology. Not anything exact. We basically define milestones. And we define what tasks or what features and content we want to add into that milestone. And we try and we basically do a really rough version of Scrum or sprints, like a very, very rough version of it, where we say, hey, what can we do the next couple of weeks? We break down the task, we prioritize what we want to get in, and we add it to our issue tracker. We basically use Git, which is basically GitHub. So we add it to our issue tracker or a task list, and we just assign it to each other. We just get it done, and then when we complete it, we make a build, we send it to testers, and then we make our next kind of milestone or build. That's it. Nothing really too formal or specific. What engine we?
Some tools that we use though is Kanban. We like Kanbanchi. A tool that's good for if you're just starting off is Hack and Plan. And but you basically a lot of those, what is it called when
Kanban?
It's called Kanban, board. Right? Yeah,
I think that's the general name for like the
it is.
Whole, like,
it is.
Yeah.
You can do Kanban in Trello as well, I believe.
Google Drive even has one. I forget what it's called, but there's like an app for Google Drive that way it's in there.
It's called Kanbanchi, and that's the one I love to use.
Yeah. So just in case, we mentioned this earlier, but in case a lot of people missed it, but yeah, we use Uni and C#. Do you guys play any pen and paper games? Like no, we do not. I play Gloomhaven. That's not a pen and paper game, but I think the closest thing to it. Let's see. Let me just scroll down. I'm so far behind. What are the easier game genre fusions in your opinion? I don't think it's. Yeah,
that's gonna be like the first thing everybody learns, I think.
Yeah, but in terms of like the easier genre fusion games, like that really depends on the scope of your game. Like you can make it as hard or difficult as you want. That's a tough one. But generally, if you have something maybe with AI, that might be a little more difficult. I guess every game would kind of have that, unless it's like a puzzle game, maybe. That's a tough question to answer. Every game is so different. Let's see. Did you create this game? Yes. So anyone that's not familiar with us, we are Half Human Games, and this is our game Dwerve. It is a tower defense dungeon crawler where you play as that cute little blue-haired guy. That's Dwerve, and he is a dwarven tinkerer, and you use turrets and traps to fight. We are currently on Kickstarter. We have
there's a link in the description.
Yeah, check the link in the description. We have 29 hours left, and we have raised 40. Oh, we went up $45,900.
Let's go.
And our Switch goal is $50,000. So we need about $6,000 to get to Switch goal, and yeah, we're almost there. So hopefully we can reach it. So if you like the game or it looks cool to you, you can play the demo on Steam. And if you enjoy it, please consider backing us on Kickstarter. You can get cool rewards like shirts, posters, and art book. We have a Snes style collector's edition. With like a mock Snes cartridge. What else do we have? Oh, there's an airy hoodie. There's lots of cool stuff you can get. So check out the Kickstarter page. And back here. Wow, this is pretty awesome.
This part is gonna be pretty intense.
So yeah, there's so some of the enemies that aren't in all of them actually aren't in the demo. We have the observers, which are basically concubines or beholders, and then we have the ogre skull crusher with the giant pillars, and then the little green guy is the troll brute. He's a little slow. This level is a little hectic because it was really made for like test enemies, towers and stuff, so it might not be as well balanced as you planned for the final game. like Peter said, it's a sandbox level. It's just for fun and testing.
Yeah, you have access to every tower here, and there's all sorts of different scenarios to test different things. So for example, this one right here is a good example of how a ranged tower might work, because the enemies have to go a long path. So you can imagine it could be water or sort of anything, but as long as there's a path there that the enemies have to take, and they don't have a straight shot to the tower, it excels. And then this room right up here, this one's great for showing off the mortar tower. So what the mortar tower can do is it can shoot over walls. Check this out. So that's a pretty cool tower.
Is it available right? Okay, I think I changed that. Yeah, so you can get the demo on Steam. Can you link to that planning program? Oh, I can't. I don't have link permission still. But if you look for hack and plan, it's like HACKN plan, and then there. Oh, let me just type in the name. I can't type in the hack in plan.
So, someone typed in chat, "You're gonna die, man," and the chat filtered it.
Oh, that's funny.
Because it seemed hateful, but it's me playing Dwarf in the game. That's hysterical. I'm surprised that YouTube was, able to catch that. That's pretty wild.
Can you turn the sound? So somebody has to turn the sound up. For the game.
Sound up for the game?
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Did you guys mean the game or us talking?
Yeah. Which one are you guys doing?
Oh, my favorite topic, or one of my favorite topics, world building story. Yes. Okay, so in terms of creativity, a lot of creativity comes from other sources of existing media. So what I don't want to say, just take another media and copy it, but what you do is you go out, find inspiration, watch fantasy movies and read books or whatever you like to do, play games, and the game is somebody says the game is too loud now. Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
I figured. When that battle has so many sound effects and those towers are so loud.
Yeah, this isn't exactly balanced, guys. So don't worry if this looked ridiculous. It's like I said, it's just for fun. But for world building, I'd recommend go researching worlds and lore for other games and whatever. Warhammer is a really great, they're super creative, really great source of inspiration. And what you want to do is, I like to mix and mash ideas or find twists on ideas. So a simple example is like some of our enemies. So when we were designing enemies for our game, we're like, okay, we don't want something completely unique, like different, where it's not like related to anything. We want it to be familiar to the player, to people that have watched fantasy stories, but also have its own unique twist. So, I'm quiet. Okay, let me move my mic closer. Maybe. Apparently, I'm quiet now, Peter.
Oh no, my bad. I realized that I changed the desktop audio, and that includes you. So let me go to options and turn down the sound effects here. Whoops, that's what I should have done originally.
Am I better, everyone?
Yeah, you're better now. You're better now. I turned down the music. Okay. I turned down the sound on my computer, not in the game.
Okay, cool. All right, so an example is our enemy. So we have the Warg Boar. So it's a mix of a Warg and a boar. Another cool enemy is we have a Gob Wasp. So we took goblins, we took wasps, and we made them, its own thing, a Gob Wasp. We also have the Shrubland. The Shrubland's pretty cool. It's a plant and a spider. So what I recommend is go get a bunch of inspiration and mix and mash ideas together to come up with like creative enemies. You can do this with monsters, or you can do it with locations too. So the magma mines is an example. So volcanic themed area is pretty that's a common theme, like a volcanic terrain. And then okay, well, how can we add a layer on top of it to make it even a little more strongly themed and unique? And we're like, okay, we'll mix it with mines. So if you do stuff like that, you can mix and mash ideas to come up with more unique things. At the end of the day, don't worry about being 100% unique. Most games or books or stories or anything isn't. They're usually inspired by something. So don't be afraid to go out and find inspiration. I definitely don't straight up copy. Try and make twists on things. An example of how Dwerve in general kind of started was, okay, so we want to make a tower defense dungeon crawler. Well, it would make the most sense if you were building turrets. It could have been anything. It could have been magic I don't know. It could have been anything really, but we're like, okay, well, tower defense game, you're building stuff. Okay, we'll make them turrets. And then we're like, all right, well, dwarves are associated with craftsmanship. They're associated with technology, so we'll make the main character a dwarf. And dwarves live in the mountain. And then we're like, well, what else lives in the mountain? Well, trolls live in the mountain, so they'll be the antagonist. And you kind of just keep going, and you'll slowly realize that you basically are just kind of that's world building. You just kind of keep going deeper and deeper, and you keep adding things. So it's like, okay, well, they're in the mountain, but the trolls. So what do the trolls do? It's like, well, they chase them out of the mountain. So you kind of just keep going, and you keep exploring ideas, and not every idea will work. So sometimes you'll need to come back and be like, this didn't really work because of this, and you'll kind of figure out solutions. But that's a general way we approach it. Dude, make a tut on turrets. That actually might be pretty cool.
Make a what?
A tutorial on turrets.
Oh. No, dude, then you're gonna start making a dwarf copycat game.
Oh, here we go. So where do you guys document the ideas? So our game design document is basically a wiki. It's very rough and not fully fleshed out and slightly outdated, but we try our best to update every so often. But we basically use a wiki, and then we also use Google Drive. So we have spreadsheets. We have Google Docs in there for different things. Google Drive is probably the best because it's collaborative. Everyone can access it. People can work on the same doc. Wiki is nice for an actual if you actually want to make a game design document. Wiki is a good way to organize that. We used to use Google Docs, but you have 30-40 page document. It takes forever to open, and it's
hard to get around. It's not fun. It's not fun to use.
Yeah, wikis are nice. You can put it on a page, click a link to another wiki. Those are really clean. I highly recommend that.
Look how funny this is. Because did you see what happened?
That's hilarious.
They can't get further. They can't get further because the first guy will get stuck. I never thought about doing this.
Me neither. We should probably make it so when you're stuck, they just walk through you or something.
That's kind of funny though. It's kind of funny. If I had one mortar, it would be perfect.
As you all can see, we still need to balance some things, tweak some things. This is a little cheap, so after the Kickstarter, really iterating on the game and improving a lot of the feedback we have and stuff like this is that's really what we're going to focus on. In addition to just kind of building out actual levels. How far is the PlayStation goal? Oh, Glenn, hey! PlayStation goal is probably not going to happen. Yeah, we weren't really sure how far we get, so we just made a kind of list. Not that we won't release on PlayStation at some point.
We'll see how Steam does. We'll make sure that Steam is our focus and any of the stretch goals that we reach.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a giant wish list of things we want to do, and if we, just because we didn't get to it with the Kickstarter doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. If the PC and hopefully Switch, if that initial launch goes well, we're going to keep trying to get it on different platforms, keep adding more languages, keep adding content to the game, and basically just really keep pushing it further, and adding cool stuff. Will the stream? Yes, the stream will be available on YouTube after we finish streaming.
We're going to do another stream tomorrow, and then I think out of the 2 streams, whichever was my favorite, I'll leave up on the channel. Oh god.
The Hall of Heroes, I don't think it's accessible in this build. We put a specific scene together for that to get.
That is something that we could probably prepare for tomorrow, though. That'd be a great.
Yeah, we'll put it in for tomorrow. It looks pretty sweet. It's not really, we only set up the scene that you see, but it looks pretty nice. All the blue lighting and stuff. You guys should add a god mode where you get to access all the towers once you beat the game and place as many as you want. That sounds really fun, actually.
or a cheat code, right? A cheat code.
Yeah, you unlock god mode. It it definitely won't be balanced, but I guess we could just bombard the player with a bunch of enemies, so you never know. We just bombard him with like. Actually, the game might start lagging if we spawn too many enemies. But yeah, I think that would be cool. We will add that to our wish list. That's a pretty neat idea. Well, if we need a Portuguese translation, so we are going to do Brazilian Portuguese. We got the localization stretch goal earlier today. If you are a professional translator, you can email us at contact@halfhumangames.com. We're not making any decisions on that yet because like barely any of the game text is done. We still have a lot of story and dialogue to write. That's something we'll be doing next year.
Mm-hmm.
Will your sound designer join tomorrow's stream?
Maybe we could do it sooner, right? We would have to do it a lot sooner.
We might do a stream tomorrow at noon so that he can join us because he is in Norway, so he is sleeping right now, and tomorrow we're doing it at 8 p.m. So we might do a stream at noon tomorrow. If we do, I'll make sure I post on social media and the Kickstarter update and everywhere, so that way people, you have a heads up. But if we do, we'll do it at noon, so that way he can join us. We're not sure about that yet, though.
That was actually. Did you see what I just did? That was pretty satisfying.
I missed it.
The chakram tower, since it can knock people off the level, and the shock tower stuns them, you can stun people and knock them off levels.
Oh, that's very fun.
So fun. That's so fun. You basically have a ranged knockback.
Yeah. Sound tutorial effects?
Combos like this is stuff that we want you guys to discover, because it's really a huge part of what makes Dwarf fun. Is you could be stuck in a part and then just try something completely different and it works. And I hope that you guys upload, YouTube videos of cool ways that you discover for beating battles. When you get further into the game, there's going to be a workbench like this throughout the level, so you'll be able to choose how you tackle every single puzzle. And towards the end of the game, you're going to have all the towers unlocked, so there's going to be a lot of options for you when it comes to figuring out how to get through a battle.
So what is the meaning of Dwerve? So Dwerve is literally just a play on dwarve. That's it. You'll notice our game has a lot of silly puns in it. We wanted something short, memorable, and like
also
that
unique.
had like unique, but also had an association with something. Like a lot of people, like when they hear Dwerve, they subconsciously, especially when you see kind of the character, like they associate it with dwarven or dwarf. So the goal was to kind of a little silly pun that also kind of made the name familiar and memorable. That's honestly it. Sound effect tutorials, I will pass on that request to Morty. Maybe he will be interested in making some sound tutorials. I'm in Norway and doing a master's focusing on sound design. Oh, that's cool. That'd be funny if you live near Morty. But that's cool. Yeah. So I forget what city he's from, but yeah, he's from Norway, and he's awesome. So he has worked on like over a dozen games as both a sound designer and a composer, but he also is working on his own tower defense game. I forget what it's called. It's still early on in development. Like I don't think he has like a page or anything, but he did the programming for it and the modeling for it. Like he's actually a very well-rounded developer. Yeah, so he's a really cool guy. So you know what? I think we'll consider doing that stream tomorrow at lunch. So he can talk a little more about the art. The sound and stuff.
I don't know.
Wow, this is crazy.
I don't know if you guys noticed that enemy, but there's an enemy that he's the guy that makes this battle so hard. I think he comes out of up here, and
the sapper?
The sapper, and he's got a giant explosive barrel. So the reason that guy makes it so hard is no matter what setup you have, if you don't kill him quick enough or knock him back, he'll just destroy your setup. Watch this. He's probably gonna come out here running and just wreck everything. Yeah, you see that? That's probably, I think, the most annoying enemy. That guy right there.
Is this a bespoke engine? I don't know what that means, but we are using Unity. Do you guys, why did you decide to put the towers at the bottom?
As opposed to where we did try a bunch of different locations.
No, they're talking about for the workbench screen. I don't know. We just tried a couple of layouts, and we wanted to keep it simple and thought it'd be nice to keep on the bottom. Not really a particular reason aside from we thought it was clean and simple. Oh no, okay. So no, we're using Unity, so we didn't make obviously the engine itself, but we did build a lot of like kind of custom tooling and stuff. Like for building levels or generating like content very quickly, like prefabs and stuff. This is not a question, but just wanted to say you guys are epic. Thank you. All right, I'm like finally caught up with the chat, so feel free to bombard me with questions if anyone has them. It can be about Dwerve, it could be about game development, art, or if you guys want to ask, Enche, any questions about art or animations.
I think the reason why we redesigned this shop several times, and I think a big reason why we did it this way is because a grid didn't look as good, and also we wanted to show the towers and the upgrades on the same screen. And if we did a grid for the towers and we did the upgrades and the stats, it started to look like just a bunch of grids, a grid here, a grid there, grid. So this was a way to kind of give it a little bit more style, having a shopkeeper on one of the on the right side, the stats on the left. So I think it's more for just aesthetic purposes, because a grid would work fine. It just didn't look that good, and we don't know how many towers we were going to add. So if we didn't have the grid fit the exact number of towers that we have, it would also look a little bit awkward.
Yeah, or we'd have to add like a scroll rect, and we kind of wanted to keep it kind of, we just figured this was a clean solution. I'm sure it could work different ways, but that's just kind of why we did it. What's the hardest thing to program? Enemies. So actually, no, enemies are a lot of fun, and they're actually really easy because I basically we basically create a data object, and then we use a data object to generate the enemy, and we can customize them very easily and add new behaviors very easily. So that's actually really fun. It's not that hard. I think one of the hardest things was probably dealing with the auto tiling for Unity tile maps. So when we're painting, we have an auto tiling brush that automatically determines like, okay, this is the corner of a grass piece, so I needed to grab this specific grass tile, or stuff like that. So that was really annoying. I'm trying to think if there's anything that was super hard. I mean, we've been working on this game so long, I can't really think. One thing that will be a little difficult is probably bosses, since they're going to require like completely their own kind of game programming and logic, because we want them to be really unique. That might be a little difficult since we're not going to be like using an existing kind of like code, or with the enemies, like I said, they all kind of use the same kind of code, and we just easily can expand or add behavior. Same thing with turrets; those are really kind of easy to iterate on and add. The bosses will require unique programming, so that'll be a little more difficult. I can't really think of. Yeah, I can't really think. There's definitely some stuff that we've had like that are super hard and frustrating, and annoying. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. It has been a while since we did like the lower level programming, which was building like the underlying systems where a lot of like the pain points kind of come.
It was easy to build on top of stuff, but originally making everything work was probably difficult. So for example, we spent so much time thinking of different ways to do the controls for Dwerve. We originally did it sort of like Pokemon, where you
the movement, yeah.
So and the RPG basically controller that we also tried point and click. we tried
a bunch of movement stuff.
We tried doing point and click, even for placing towers down. We tried doing point and click, but that was one of the that was a good example of how it would play very differently on PC and on console. So for console, point and click is not the way to go. It felt much better to have a joystick control Dwarves movement and then have buttons just place down the towers. We do have friends that love point and click, and it's one of the reasons why we kept trying it, because we thought maybe we can make it work. But we found that controlling Dwerve and placing towers down, it feels more personal because the camera's following Dwerve, you're not looking elsewhere. And also it's the quickest way to build and move around. We added a bunch of cool little things. For example, if you hold spacebar, it shows you which tower you're going to recall. So and you can recall towers from any distance. So from here you can see how far back I am, and I can still select which tower I'm going to recall. So it's not really an issue of having to click on the tower. We solved that problem. So the system that we have now, we definitely thought a lot about making it work really well.
Are you guys looking to expand the team? Not currently. We don't really have the budget for that. But hopefully Dwarf does well and we can expand our team. Yeah, we would love to, you know, to work with more people that, you know, are into these sort of games, and just keep building cooler stuff with more people. But you know, when you're starting out, you have a tight budget, and you just, you know, you can only bring on so many people. So not anytime soon, but hopefully eventually.
Dwarf 2. After Dwarf releases on Steam.
I love this game. I got the art book. Thank you, Sid, for backing, and we hope you like the art book when you get it.
There's a lot of really cool concept art that Enche has been doing recently that is gonna be amazing for the art book.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, you guys are gonna love that. Have you gotten any odd reactions in real life when you say you make games for a living? I don't think I've got any weird ones. I think people are like, no way, really? Like, they get excited. They're like, that's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, but it just takes forever and it's tough. But it is fun. It is a lot of cool. I think that's the most common reaction. People think it's cool. Let's see. Just being curious, but why not the upgrade? Oh no, I already answered that one. Oops. Oh, well, maybe I don't know. Let's see. I'm sorry. Why did you use professional version of Unity? Oh, did you use the professional version of Unity? I don't even know. I don't even remember, to be honest. I think we were at some point, and then now we're not.
I have the professional version right now because you get a discount if you get like a year. So I was like, well, I want to save money. So
I honestly don't even know if I have it. I don't think so. I think I had it for a while, but then I don't think I needed it, so I didn't renew it. To put emphasis on the town, let's see. Is it possible to play on Linux? Yes, and you can play the demo right now on Linux. You can get it from Steam. How did you do pathfinding? So one thing we live by is do not reinvent the wheel. So we use a lot of third-party assets. We make sure that they are popular and, you know, heavily supported. So we use A-Star Pathfinding Project Pro, and that's a Unity asset. And it is very robust, a lot of flexibility. It lets you, you know, customize and do all sorts of cool things, and it's performant. So that's what we use for pathfinding. It's basically, you know, it's A-Star, but with a lot more advanced features like you can tag tiles.
Almost every game engine has A-Star, some kind of A-Star built into it, or third-party resource.
Yeah, and again, this is A-Star, but it has a lot more advanced features. Like one thing that, you know, A-Star by itself is easy, but local avoidance can be a little more difficult, and this has it right out of the box with a tons of like options. So, you know, to prevent the enemies from all like running over each other, you know, to be aware of each other, that's a really cool feature that one has. So yeah, it's A-Star. I'll type it in the chat in case you're a developer. Yeah, A-Star Pathfinding Project Pro. All right. Thoughts on Game Maker Studio? I think Game Maker is like a really good engine. You know, if you're more technical, you know, Unity or Unreal is the better route. But if you're just starting out, or you're a hobbyist, or you know, you make simple games, Game Maker is great. The scripting language is great. You don't need
It's easier to pick up than Unity.
Yeah, you don't need no programming. You use they have visual programming, and it's very, very easy to get. It's actually the game engine that I started game development with. And
me too.
I still think it's great. The only reason we're using Unity is because we both like programming, and we're comfortable in programming.
Me too. The reason why I advocate Unity though is because if you start getting good at GameMaker, you're gonna start learning more and more about the GameMaker language, and you're gonna start surpassing basically what GameMaker can do, and and eventually it gets to a point where GameMaker can actually hold you back, because imagine this: Unity has 500 people working on it. It just IPO'd on the stock market, and then GameMaker has a much smaller team working on it. So Unity's gonna get way more features. It's gonna have way more frequent updates
and more assets in the store.
Yeah, exactly. So
if you absolutely hate programming, go with GameMaker. But in general, Unity is gonna be around for a very long time, and you won't run into limitations with it. Are the traps upgradable or have static damage bugs? So yes, the traps will also be upgradable. Their upgrades might be a little simpler. So for example, the tar trap that slows enemies, we're thinking of making it, aside from basic stat upgrades, we'll think about adding poison or something. But in general, just because the traps are a little simpler, their upgrades will also be a little simpler.
Well,
but we're trying our best to make them interesting.
The goat trap will probably have a bigger explosion. Then maybe its explosion will leave a fire on the ground for a little bit. So we can still come up with some pretty cool stuff even for the traps. The traps work a little different. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know this, but the traps have a time duration, and enemies walk over them, except for the goat trap. The goat trap is a little bit more unique, because that one is used to attract enemies, and then it explodes when they destroy it. So it's a good way to create a choke point. And
most of the traps are floor traps. They just walk over and ignore. But the goat trap's opposite. It's hey, come to me, and then they all hit it, and boom.
This will be a good example right here. Oops, I don't have it equipped.
Is the pixel art font custom? No, it is not. It is an open source font. I think it's called Bitcell. I think. What do you think of Godot? So yeah, I haven't used it personally. I vaguely looked into it. It seems awesome. It seems great. It seems like it's a really great engine. Again, like Peter said though, Unity is built by a really big company. It has a lot of support, a lot of documentation, a lot of Unity assets. It's not going anywhere.
Godot, Unity's free too, so the free argument is hard to use.
Yeah, try them both. Make a game jam in Godot, make a game jam in Unity. Use whichever one you like best. Unity's, it's gonna have a lot, it's bigger in terms of popularity, and documentation and probably features. But if there's something about Godot, you like the workflow, or you like how it works or whatever, at the end of the day, do what works for you. I don't know anything about default, so I can't comment on that.
Godot's not really good for 3D games. It's mainly used for 2D games. But a lot of people, the reason they like Godot is because it creates smaller file sizes when you're trying to create a small game. So Unity, even if you create a very simple game, the file size will be a little bit bigger than, for example, GameMaker or Godot.
I think they were actually improving that too, where you can import. Yeah, I think so. Where you can basically you can say which packages you want to include in your build. But I think before it included everything kind of automatically.
Yeah.
Do you guys use 2D sprites in 2D environment or 3D? Yeah, this is completely 2D. So some 2D games actually use 3D. It's like a little trick where they use actually a 3D environment. The camera's just positioned a certain way or whatnot. But everything is flat in 2D.
Enter the Gungeon was like that.
Yeah, Enter the Gungeon. And that's actually how they did their lighting. Because they actually had an actual wall, and it was positioned upward. But anyways, yeah, we are using everything flat, everything 2D.
This should be funny.
Are you guys using any kind of lessons learned document to track positive and negative events that happen during the project? I'm not really sure what you mean by lessons learned, but in general, yeah, we try and identify bottlenecks or things that aren't working out well, or tools that need improvements, and or workflows and processes, and we'll try and identify any problems in those, and fix them so that we can have a smoother development process moving forward. Do you use Unity or Game Maker? We use Unity. I know people are like popping in and out, so I'm just gonna re-answer some questions just for the new people that recently joined us. Okay, so we've been going for about an hour and a half. We're probably gonna end the stream soon, but we will be streaming again tomorrow at the same time at 8. We might do a noon stream. I am not sure yet. I will post all over social media and in a Kickstarter update if we decide to do it at noon. But we will definitely be streaming tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is also GMT -4. So again, we are Half Human Games. This is Dwerve. You can play the demo on Steam, and if you like it, please consider backing us on Kickstarter.
There's a link in the description.
Yep, the link for the Kickstarter is in the description. We just got 46,000. So we have
Yes.
we have 4,000. We have 4,000 more to go. Earlier I think I said 6,000. I think I said my math backwards. But we have 4,000 more to go until we reach the Nintendo Switch stretch goal. And yeah, hopefully we can reach that, because I know a lot of you really want to play the game on the go. So if we get to that 50,000, we can make that happen. We're gonna be, like I said, we're gonna be ending the stream shortly, so if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and ask those real quick. Thank you for the kind words. We're glad you guys are enjoying and talking with us, and we're happy to answer your questions. Is multiplayer under your radar? It's at the very edge of our radar. It's something we would like to do. It likely won't happen before the initial release. If the initial release does well, we definitely want to keep adding to the game, and eventually, hopefully, we would like to add some sort of multiplayer game mode. If we get really, really close to the Nintendo Switch Go, we will likely still do it, but I don't want to give a threshold. It would have to be really close for us to do it, because we already did lower it. We got some PayPal backers, but we also lowered it a little more than that. So we don't want to go too much lower than 50,000. Yes, the game was built in Unity.
If we did multiplayer, we would love to do like a versus mode, a survival mode, all sorts of stuff. But we really needed to hit higher numbers on Kickstarter for us to make sure that that's in the release.
Yeah. So like I said, after launch, if it does well, we definitely want to keep working on the game. So key mapping. So we actually took it out just because the UI was really bad. But the final game, not really bad meaning just unfinished. But the final game will have support for remapping controls. That way, if you don't like the default controls, you can change them to whatever you like. Okay, so we have had some FPS issues. We need to look into that. We're not really sure, but for some people it's running low, and we don't know why. But we will definitely look into that and make sure that the final game does run smoothly.
If you do have FPS issues, let us know what your specs are, like what your graphic card is, resolution, stuff like that. But something that usually helps is if you run the game in window mode, it should use less RAM. So that's something to quickly try, is just running it in window mode.
Yeah, but in general, we will figure out what's going on, and we'll fix that. And you can back via PayPal. There's information actually on the Kickstarter page. If you scroll down a little bit, look for the back via PayPal section. But basically, there's a link, and you enter the amount of the pledge tier you want and any add-ons. Are you open to Facebook? If so, how do we... Oh, feedback. Sorry. I'm a little tired. We had a long day. Okay, so are we open to feedback? Yes, we absolutely want your feedback.
Yeah, join the Discord.
Yeah, it's Discord. The best way to give us feedback is we have a channel specifically for demo feedback on our Discord server. You can get it's discord.gg/halfhumangames. Let me see if I Discord. If not, you can go to dwerve.com, and if you scroll down, it'll be at the top bar. Let me see if this works. All right, I'm gonna add a space. There we go. Oh, it tagged me. But yeah, discord.gg/halfhumangames. Does it have different language translations? So actually, earlier today we reached the localization stretch goal. So the game does not currently have translations, but we did reach the stretch goal earlier today. So the final game will have translations for Spanish, French, German, Italian, and Brazilian Portuguese. Oh, you trying to fix the link thing?
I don't know. I tried something, but yeah.
I just saw better. Okay, all right. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Go check out the demo in our Kickstarter if you haven't yet. The links are in the description. Again, if you feel free to follow up if you still have questions on the Discord. We're pretty active on there. We have a channel for questions. We have a channel for feedback. And we even have development channels. Our Discord's pretty active, and it's a really really awesome community. So come hang out with us in there.
If Fuzzy Jammies is still in the chat, thank you for the $5 donation and the $350 donor. Woo!
Oh, no way. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I missed that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Backing means like the world to us. This passion, we really believe in it, and when you guys support us, it makes us even better. Because at the end of the day, we're not making the game just for ourselves. We're making it for people like you all to enjoy. So thanks for hanging out with us. And feel free to come hang out with us more in the Discord server. And again, tomorrow we will be streaming again, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern time or GMT -4.
Yeah, and we'll probably show off the Hall of Heroes tomorrow, so you'll get to see something new as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your, I think it's nights in most places. So
yeah,
all right, see you guys later.
Guys.